Good afternoon, Americans. This is your favorite alien on the afternoon of Saturday, February 24th, 2023. 2024. And today is two things. The commentary is on truth. It's never situated on one place. And you have tried to find the truth for a long time, Americans, and you still haven't found it. You can't. Truth is something that's good today, not so good tomorrow, or maybe you have to tweak it a little bit tomorrow. And I'll let you know what I mean by that in a second. Today, February 24th, marks the voting that's going on in South Carolina for you Republicans. The truth about that? Well, you don't even know what the truth is. Nikki Haley is the one person that comes close to it. She knows what the truth is as of today. But you notice, and the complaint with Nikki Haley has been that, she stood by Trump back then, and now she's herping at him and saying nasty things about him. The truth of 2015 is not the same as the truth of 2024. And as a society, you haven't understood that, Americans. As a society and a form of government, you have to know that truth is like your planet. It revolves around a certain entity, like Earth revolves around the sun. And yes, you got a certain amount of days, and truth, you had a certain amount of time. Let me explain truth. In 1776, when you declared that you wanted to be separate from the British, you had a certain amount of truth that you wanted there. But you lied to most American people about how you're going to get there because you didn't know how you were going to get there. 8 years of bloody war didn't change the truth, did it? Then, 50 years later, in 1826, when Presidents Adams and Jefferson, two stalwarts of the Declaration of Independence and the American Revolutionary War, died on July 4th, which was the date you guys chose to say your Independence Day, the truth was a little different than 1776. For as Thomas Jefferson said before he died, John Adams still lives, and John Adams probably said the same thing. Thomas Jefferson still lives. That is the truth of 1826, the hatred that came between them because of political discourse. Okay? The truth was different than 1776. You almost came to civil war 6 years earlier when South Carolina, today's state that's voting, declared the Compromise of 1820 for slavery null and void. Wow. And you forgot that, huh? That was the truth in 1826. 1876, 50 years later, 100 years after your revolution, the centennial, as you call it, of the United States, You had a vicious election. Vicious. By today's standard, oh, was it vicious? Woohoo! Yeah. And today's election is going to be vicious as that one was in 1876. Anyway, Samuel Tilden won the presidency of the United States, but a little backroom deal between you Republicans and Democrats, well, cost and changed the United States for the next century. So what did you have? Well, the Republicans wanted the presidency at all cost. The Democrats, at least the Southern Democrats, wanted the South at all cost. So the Compromise of 1877 was struck. And as President Trump would say, or former president, I got an election rigged here. Well, yes. So the electors of the states that were still under Reconstruction, Louisiana, number 1, South Carolina, number 2, well, they were said, okay, here's the way you're going to vote, and you're going to give it to Rutherford B. Hayes and Samuel Tilden. Well, you lick your wounds and back into the pages of history. That was the truth in 1876. Another 50 years, 1926, and the truth had changed. You were 50 years from the Compromise of 1876, 77, and you had the Supreme Court signing in 1896, Plessy versus Ferguson, separate but equal. Therefore, segregation was the law of the land in 1926. That was the truth back then. It isn't the truth today? Or is it the truth today? Is there still segregation? Well, yes, there is still segregation. Take it another 50 years, 1976, 200 years from 1776, the bicentennial. And did you have all those parades? Remember all those bicentennial parades? I was 17 years old in 1976. And boy, you had those parades all over the place. The Tall Ship Parade in New York City. Each city had their own parades. Uncle Sam's all over the place. Election of 1976. Well, you had Watergate, and that was the truth of 1976. Republicans with dirty tricks. Wow. But the truth for the Americans was still withheld, because the two-party system had come into vogue almost 100 years then, 1854, 120-some years there. And in 1976, the South showed its power by electing Jimmy Hole. So the Democrats finally got their reward from 1877, 99 years later. Then they elected Jimmy Hole. What was the truth of 1976? Well, the Americans were going to be headed into 20% interest rates. Oh boy, was that, oh boy. You were in the middle of a Middle East embargo on oil. Your gas went to $1 plus a gallon. Oh, oh, oh. Truth, American. At least that's what you thought was the truth of 1976. But was it? No. There was no truth in 1976. There was no truth in 1926. There was no truth in 1876. There was no truth in 1826. And there's definitely no truth in 1776, because you don't know what the truth was. You never set it up. Here we are in 2024, 2 years before the 250th anniversary of the truth in 2026. You're having another nice election today. And the truth is, what? That the Republicans are stupid? And the Democrats are even dumber than the Republicans? And the American people are even dumber than any of those guys? And the American public is a hodgepodge of this, that, and everything else. There is no American public anymore. You're a collection of enclaves. You got what you call the African American community. Is that what you call yourself? Communities. The Jewish community. The Arab community. The Asian community. The Latin community. There is no such thing as Americans anymore. Therefore, the truth of 1776 is long dead. And who do you have to blame for that? Your own selves. Do you get it, Americans? The truth? Well, you never found out what that was. And you're still working on it, but too little, too late. You're looking at extinction. As a favorite alien from another planet, I say, what a shame. You had such a good start of a society that could have been better. Yet, you threw it all away. Good day.